What's up, though? Hope everyone's day is going well. If you see by the title, I'm going to be showing you guys, telling you guys how to get rid of that guilt cycle, how to stop feeling guilty for yourself. Maybe you don't even realize that you're feeling guilty of yourself because a lot of us have been programmed from a very young age to make ourselves feel guilty, and it's just a part of who we are. Saying that with a grain of salt because I was the same person. I was really guilty. I always made myself feel guilty, and my brain unconsciously looked for ways to make myself feel guilty to support that I was guilty. It was a whole cycle, which I'm gonna expose to you guys, and maybe this can help you transform how you look at things, how things affect you, because this guilt cycle really was a big part of my life, and now I'm obviously able to let that go, so it feels a lot better. But I'm gonna end this clip real quick, see if you guys can hear me. Good news, you guys can hear me. Bad news, I already tried recording this, and I can't really get the words out of my mouth, right? So what I need to do is I need to open up to you guys, kind of expose myself onto how I was able to become aware that I was in this guilt cycle. And it started off with my ex-girlfriend. I was with her for quite a while, and throughout the time I would always in the back of my mind feel guilty about doing things that are just regular things, right? Now keep in mind I wasn't like cheating, I wasn't doing anything bad, like terrible, but I would look for reasons to make myself feel guilty, and honestly it led to much other things. Like, you'll start to realize that everything you believe is causing you to feel insecure, or it's causing you not to trust another person, is just all within. There's nothing external that can make you feel something, okay? So that lack of trust, the lack of security, the the opposite of guilt, love, you could say, it's all just from within. And I want to highlight that important message because a lot of people get in that illusion that, well, it's because my girlfriend was, or not even a girl, it could be anything. It could be any relationship in your life, or even just anything in life. You can try blaming something and that thing is what makes you feel a certain way. It's never that, I promise you. Of course, if your girlfriend's like cheating on you, then why are you with her in the first place? So there's that. But no, my girlfriend did not do that. So, well, my ex, you could say, my ex did not do that. I just created a lot of like problems inside of myself, right? And so I'll link to this. You want to go deep. You want to be very, very honest with yourself as well, because if you're not honest with yourself and you continue to deny who you once were or who you are, then you won't ever learn to accept and forgive yourself. It'll just turn into a never-ending cycle. So it began with this. I didn't trust my word. Everything I said I was going to do never came to fruition, because I tried controlling it too much, and overall I just ended up setting myself up. And with that, I lost trust within myself, which eventually I lost trust in her, which, at the end of the day, wasn't her fault. It was just inside. And so it showed, right? And then the insecurity part is because I felt insecure because I was filled with so much guilt and lack of trust within myself that I deemed myself not worthy to be with her. And I know it sounds like, why would you even say that to yourself, or how could anyone ever think of that? But you got to understand those unconscious programs, patterns you have, is what dictates how you feel and why you have trust issues, why you are insecure, why you don't trust yourself, why you are always in that guilt cycle, right? I'm gonna dive deeper into why the guilt goes in there, right? So since I couldn't trust myself, I didn't trust her, and since I didn't trust myself, I unconsciously looked for reasons to make myself feel guilty, to make myself feel guilty for just doing regular things, whether it's even like talking to one of my old friends it's a girl, and I'd always make it such a big deal, and eventually it kind of like manifested, you can even say. I don't, you can say that. I like saying that. A lot of people don't like saying that, but it was definitely a learning curve. I'm glad I was able to learn from it at the end of the day, but if you begin to notice that, and it doesn't have to be trust, it doesn't have to be insecurity. I mean, it doesn't even have to be guilt. It could be even fear. It could be shame. But if you guys have seen, I'll pop it up right here, this scale of consciousness, there's a bunch of cycles people get into. It could be shame, it could be fear, it could be anger, it could be pride, guilt. And you just gotta catch those patterns. And now how do you catch unconscious things? Well, because you're not conscious of it, right? You wanna pay attention. You wanna pay very, very close attention to your thoughts, your reactions, your emotions throughout the day, okay? So let's say this, right? Let's say, I'm gonna have to use a girl, because that's the thing that made me realize it. So hopefully if there is any other part of life where you feel fear or any other negative emotion, hopefully you can tie it to this. But let's say your girl is talking to one of her guy friends, right? And for some reason inside you have that like envious or jealous or sort of control or whatever, like feeling inside, which a lot of people do. It's a sense of insecurity, okay? A bunch of people don't like admitting to that. I myself do not want to admit to that or accept it, but it's just how we've been programmed, you know? Once you're able to accept it and move and focus your attention to being secure, then more and more scenarios like that happen, there'll be more security within. So it's like, it's a win-win, all right? So you have to pay attention to how you feel, what thoughts pop up, and understand if any negative thought pops up, it's an illusion from the ego. I don't think I've talked too much about the ego. I know I keep saying I'm going to talk about it, but any negative feeling, whether it's jealousy, whether it's pride, whether it's envy, whether it's controlling, whether it's trying to be possessive, saying that she is mine, that's also a sense of pride or a sense of trying to control. Which obviously it gets kind of wavy, but understand that whenever you say someone is yours, you can't control it, and that you're attaching yourself to an outcome. I learned that, and you know I was a victim of that too. Victim. I'm not a victim, but I did that a lot too. I would say, you know, she's mine, like what J. Cole said. Sorry, but yeah. So hopefully you're trying to understand my language, but. And start to notice the patterns, okay? If you realize there's like a random thought that pops up that makes you feel guilty, question why. Or maybe take note of it. That's what I like to do. I like to take note of it. I'm like, why did I feel guilty? Being honest with you guys, right? I'll be like, why did I feel guilty admiring a girl's beauty when me and her aren't together anymore? How about that? And I would still have her in the back of my mind being like, what would she think of me if she saw me like this? You know, making me feel more guilty, making me feel more insecure, more unworthy, and honestly lose trust in myself. So it's just a constant cycle. And I have these thoughts, and it's just the ego eating. It's like it's feeding off of things that make you feel bad about yourself. It's all negativity. It's a constant spiral downwards, right? And so maybe, you know, you start to realize these things like, man, I do feel guilty about making money. Let's say it's like that. Start to question why. Maybe that's a reason why you're not making as much money as you want to. Or you fear of the future. You don't have enough faith. Question why you don't have faith is because you don't trust that you will do what you're going to say you're going to do. Stuff like that. Honestly, I haven't really been able to teach or coach anybody on this, so I'm sure later on I'll have a million more examples. But I hope this resonates with you guys as well. The whole guilt cycle. It's very, very powerful, and you gotta ask yourself those hard questions, okay? Like those uncomfortable questions, and begin to accept that that's who you are, or who you once were. It'll help you out immensely. And just forgive yourself and accept. And it's going to be very, very hard to accept. It's going to be very, very hard to forgive. But understand that forgiveness is a choice and not a feeling. You got to choose to forgive who you once were. You got to choose to forgive who you are in order for you to focus on what you want to actually do. Now, back to my example. Now that I was actually on a call with my one of my coaches, which, you know, I might even name this a different title now. Anyways, I was on a call with one of my coaches, and this is how we broke it down, right? Figured out I had a bunch of guilt, reinforcing that I couldn't trust myself, that I was insecure, that I wasn't worthy enough, that all these different, like, you know, negative beliefs. and that I was a guilty person. And we were able to become aware of that, and awareness is key. Then I was able to accept and forgive myself. And once I was able to forgive and accept who I once was, who I am, I've changed my focus to who I want to be. Okay, I want to be someone who's secure. I want to be someone who loves and doesn't feel guilty. I want to be someone who's secure. I think I said that. I want to trust myself and be able to see trust in other people and not just believe it's a corrupt world. Because ultimately it serves me. You know, there's a bunch of people in this internet space where they promote being envious. They promote being controlling. They promote being jealous. And you gotta understand that all those, I'll be honest, like all those reels, all those TikToks, all those things you watch and see, it gets in the back of your head and you just kind of eventually accept it as truth. So, just forgiving yourself, and forgiving who you once were is very, very key. And just understand that all this was meant to happen, and that maybe this video is really what truly changes you from being a guilty person or an untrustworthy person or an insecure person or a fearful person or a shameful or a prideful, angry person, because then you start to pick up on the patterns, on the thoughts, on the emotions. And now you get to flip it on the things you actually want to be, things that actually serve you. I hope that makes a lot of sense. I hope this helps. Another key thing that while I was doing this, like I said, forgiveness is a choice, not a feeling. I would consciously say to myself, I'd be like, all right, David, I forgive you for being insecure. I forgive you for doing these actions, da-da-da-da. But the ego will try to trick you. It'll try to gain control again and make you feel guilty again. It would be like, well, if you didn't do that, if you did trust yourself, then you guys would still be together. I promise you, that's like, it popped in my head like 10,000 times. I learned. I would indulge into it. I'd be like, damn, like, maybe you're right. End of the day, if we were meant to be together, then we be together. If we're meant to transform together, then we transform together. And I don't mean to go too deep into relationship stuff, but this is literally just what was able to open my eyes. And now I started to realize this all over my life. And I start to notice other patterns that any negative pattern, any negative feeling, any negative thought that pops up in your head, it's from within. No one ever creates that negative thought. Okay, I have another example for people who get angry all the time. My baby sister, right? She's 3 years old and she loves to play. Always loves to do it. She just can't sit still. Honestly, I need to take away her phone. My parents won't take her away because her dopamine is fried. But she always needs to do something. She's either playing on her iPad, playing on my mom's phone, playing on my PS5. She's like, David, can I play your video games, right? And so constantly she wants to play with me. And I get annoyed. I'm like, dude, leave me alone, bro. I'm just trying to chill. I'm just trying to I'm trying to calm down. I'm even trying to do work. And anger would get popped up, right? And I was like, man, why am I getting angry? For real. What's so bad about playing with my baby sister, And I look back and I was like, well, okay, I was scrolling on my phone. Why was I scrolling? I was procrastinating. I was pushing something back. Okay, why were you mad? What made you go on your phone, I got angry at myself. And why did I get angry? Because I was pushing back work I know I needed to do, and then now that my sister wants to play, that's my excuse to not do the work. And it gets me mad because now I can't do the work. You see how I broke it down? I looked back the initial emotion, reaction, feeling, question it. I was like, why do I feel mad? Why am I mad at my poor 3-year-old sister? All she wants to do is play. And then I looked back. I was scrolling. I was procrastinating. I was getting angry at myself for not doing the work. Eventually, leading up to guilt and procrastination. And I just took it out on my sister because that gave me an external reason to blame my internal problem. If I could clip something, I would clip that. That's actually the best thing I said all day. So yeah, I keep feeling like someone's not running up on me, but walking behind me. This is honestly one of the most powerful videos. I love this video. I'm loving it. And I might even share it to my friends. So if you're my friend watching this, hopefully this helps. I'll kind of just expose myself to everything I've been going through. But hey, I'm over it now, so it's a win. But yeah, start to break things down like that. And it could be small stuff like that. And understand, the more and more negative emotions you peel, hopefully it's not too loud, the more and more negative emotions you peel off the onion, that onion shell, whatever, the closer you get to the core, the truth. But understand, each emotion or each reaction, each thought negative thought, you begin to uncover and surrender. That's what you need to do at the end of all of this. Sorry, I forgot to mention this. Once you forgive, once you accepted who you are, you surrender it to God, and then you focus on what He has for you, who you want to now be. The loving, trustworthy, secure person. Back to what I was saying. You're gonna start uncovering more and more deeper, more rooted emotions. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Last Saturday, I was cooked. I woke up grinding my teeth because of something unconscious became conscious, and my body was reacting in such a bad way, or it reacted really, really strongly because I had so much unconscious behind all this. But it was because throughout these last 3-4 months, I've been peeling off, shells of the onion. I've been like, all right, this makes sense. I'm getting off that, or I'm less fearful. Okay, I let go of my attachment to so and so. I let go of my attachment to money, and it continued getting closer and closer and closer till it hit a very, very deep point. And you're gonna have to fight these quote-unquote demons, you can call it. You're gonna have to fight these old stories. Understand God's by your side, and it's all part of your process. So, yeah, I love that example too of the onion thing, because it's continually taking off the shell, the crust, whatever you want to call it. I don't cook, so I don't really know what it's called. But yeah, and then you get to that core, the truth, and that truth is where God is. The more and more you uncover all these illusions, the more and more you uncover all these things, you get closer to who you actually need to be, or who you actually are destined to be, you could say. What Jesus has for you. So, hope this video helps. If you have any more questions, I open up to you, so feel free to open up to me if you need. This thing gets really, really deep, and even if you start noticing that you get mad at yourself for procrastinating, or for not staying consistent, or staying disciplined, or just even all these surface level stuff, hop in a call with me. I'll do my very, very best to uncover what's deeply rooted, what's below that tip of the iceberg. I think that's an important thing. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I don't know what else I can say. If I think of anything, I'll say it in the comment, put it in the description. I don't know. But yeah, essentially, I guess let's do a recap. Let's recap for myself as well. Becoming aware of your initial emotions, thoughts, and reactions. Okay? And if you constantly feel guilty, any negative feeling, all right? Remember that scale of consciousness that I showed you earlier. If you constantly feel that, or at any time, start to begin to surrender it. Start to let go of it. Start to look at the main cause behind it, all right? Then we forgive and accept. All right, so we bring awareness, now we're forgiving and accepting and surrendering. We're like, all right, I accept that I was this once person, I was this person once, that I am this person, an insecure person to say that. I want to surrender this to you, God, and fill me with security. All right? Very, very key. Make sure you have that opposite coming towards you. Have the opposite clear in your mind. Security. I feel like that's the opposite of insecurity. So make sure you have that written down, I'd say. I don't have it written down. Actually, I do have it written down. I have the bad stuff written down, then I have the good stuff written down, and I deleted the bad stuff because I forgave myself about it. And yeah, now we're moved on to focusing on who you are meant to be, who God has you, who wants you to be, who you want to be, things that actually serve you. Now, I didn't mention this. Throughout the day, we are unconscious 90% of our day. All right? Let me make sure I'm still recording. We're unconscious about 90% of our day. All right? And so, in the back of our mind, if those negative thoughts continue to play and we don't, stay aware of it, it's just going to continue seeping through our day. All right? So, as much as you can, consciously remind yourself that you love yourself, that you're secure, that God has your back, that you remain faithful, that you're filled with love and, the positive emotions. And when the ego, you can even call the ego the enemy. When the enemy tries to fill you back up with the guilt, the negative emotions, the thoughts, say to yourself, I accept that's who I once was, I forgave myself, and now I am someone new. It's just something to reprogram your mind. Last thing, I need to shut up. Last thing, I used to think the ego was the devil. I was like, man, I hate this ego. I resist it, I resist it, I resist it. But the more you resist something, the more it persists. So once I was able to accept that the ego is just everything I once was or who I am, I can let go and understand that I am one with God. I am created in His image. So those negative emotions aren't who I am. Those negative stories, the stories don't serve me, aren't who I am. And I can treat that. I like to treat the ego like a little brother or a teddy bear. For some people, they like to think of it like that, and let go of it. Not let go of it, but just understand that it's just scared. It wants to take control. It wants to predict. It wants to survive. That's the ultimate thing with the ego. And you just gotta understand that you aren't the ego. You gotta understand you aren't your thoughts. You aren't your emotions. And this gets pretty spiritual. If you are new to this, ask questions. I would love to answer. But yeah, treat this ego like a stuffed animal. It's just trying to survive. So, a teddy bear, you don't have to smack it in the face. You can just be like, you know what? You can continue thinking that, but it's not me anymore. So, yeah. God bless. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And yeah, ask questions.